Excuse me. Hi everyone. So thanks for joining me today. This will be the first proper stream that I did. I've done 2 tests previously, so we'll see how this goes. Yay! Okay, so for today, transferring. I'll be trying to transfer my Notion setup from it used to be based on Diego Fort's PAR method, and I'm gonna try moving parts of it over to a new setup that I recently discovered. Okay, so my former setup was based on the PARA method by Forte. You can read more about it. Can you see my slides? Oh, it's a bit laggy. Okay. You can read more about it at the URL over in that slide. I wouldn't talk any more about it. Just briefly, the PARA means projects, areas, resources, and archives. So that's the way that the organization method is called. So or rather, I intend to move to a new setup called the PPV method by August Bradley. August is also a Notion Pro. August is a Notion Pro like me. You can read. You can read and watch more YouTube videos on the PPV method, Pillars, Pipelines, and Vaults by August Bradley. So I'll talk about it really, really briefly because his YouTube videos give a much better and more detailed explanation. So this is I'm talking a bit before I dive into the workings of like how I'm going to transfer it over. So this is August's setup. This is an overview of his entire thing. So it's kind of scary when you first look at it, like you don't really know where to look out for it. So let's look at the key in the bottom left corner. So you see that there are data inputs. So these are inputs coming from outside. There are Notion dashboards, which are pages, and there are Notion databases, which are circles, sort of like a long circle thing. So Notion is basically made up of pages and databases, and how different people use them is how people come up with their very different processes and systems. So I'll focus. Okay, let me switch out and focus on one part. This allows me to zoom in better. Okay. So I'll just be focusing on the top part and the alignment zone, which isn't featured in this graphic over here. So let's look at the pillar to pipeline pyramid that August talks about. So what this means is that August bases his entire system on a philosophy of his, which is how we plan our lives should be based on looking at our guiding principles, just the top of the pyramid, the pointy end, and that cascades down into pillars, goals, goal outcomes, projects, and tasks, which are right at the bottom. And basically, everything at the bottom supports your guiding principles or your North Star at the top. And that is how he envisions, or rather, he has created his entire system based around that. Now, I find having a very top level overview much easier to create my system around versus what a lot of other Notion users out there, they talk about, oh, this is how I design my project, how I work through my project in Notion, and all these like very small isolated pockets or parts of their systems doesn't really help me when I structure my system because I wanted to look at it from a higher rather a bigger picture. So the guiding principles, let's start with your guiding principles, your pillars. Okay, sorry, we'll look at the purple part, which is the guiding principles, supported by your pillars, vision goals, goals outcomes, projects, and action tasks. So all these can be found in his alignment zone, which let me switch over into. Now I can't directly move and create this entire system all together in one day. So I'm just going to be focusing today on the alignment zone, which consists of his of the pillars and the outcomes, pipelines, and execution pipelines. And then if there's time, I'll move into reorganizing my action items database. So just these two parts. So this is a screenshot of his YouTube video where it shows his alignment zone page or dashboard, as you like to call it. So you can see on this dashboard, it starts with his guiding principles, his cycles. Cycles refer to the annual, monthly, weekly, and daily reviews and milestones, which he doesn't show. And then we move on to the parts of the pyramid, which is the pillars, pipelines, and execution pipelines. So let's get into moving my database over. So I'm going to pull this away. Okay, so this is my current system. Okay, it's lagging. Right, it's slowly loading. Now this lag is not because Notion, the app is slow. It's because my computer right now is running a lot of things, like a lot of different tabs. So that's why it's lagging. And streaming just happens to like really kill my processor. Okay, so my current setup is based on the para method of organization by Tiago. So you can see it's like a dashboard where I have my journals, my weekly agendas, and everything else at the bottom. I won't bother scrolling because that will really lag everything. So in order to do this alignment zone, we need certain databases that have to be created. And the databases that have to be created are all we flip back, all those circular blocks, those are databases. So databases that we created are the pillars, vision goals, goal outcomes, projects, and action items. So let's go back to my Notion dashboard and make sure that I've created those. So I've done a little bit of homework here, not all. Um, I've created lag, my guiding principles. Yes, I shouldn't stream, but like, that's what I have, a MacBook Air. Please feel free to donate so that I can change or upgrade my computer. I've been told to move out of the Mac system, but I have so many things in it, so that's going to be a problem. So these are my guiding principles that I've noted down. You can see, and then next I've done the homework of creating a pillars database. You can see my pillars over here, nothing personal. Um, Value goals. Okay, in August's flowchart, he calls it vision goals, but later he calls it value goals. Now, his value goals. Why there's two types of goals? Is value goals and goal outcomes. Is because his value goals are based on. It's more like qualitative goals that are sort of softer, that he can think of it on the spot, like, oh, he wants a thriving business, but then in order to send bits, thanks. In order to translate them, he did these softer goals in order to translate them into more quantitative goals, which are goal outcomes. For example, a thriving business would translate into earning X amount of revenue for the first month or for the first year. So the same thing, in order to get, like, say, exceptional knowledge in fields, it would mean that you would have to read X number of books in a particular field that you would want exceptional knowledge in. So goal outcomes are quantitative and value goals are qualitative. So then we move on to, I didn't create the goal outcomes database. I didn't create the projects database. I have created my actions database. And let's see. Oh, I know where it is. Oh no, So my HQ has a shit ton of stuff. And this is my humongous action database, which I will favorite first so that it appears right at the top. So favorites are like amazing in Notion. Okay, so later I'll tweak this. Okay, so now let's get into editing, creating the alignment page. Ooh, I've been waiting so long to do it. Been like faffing around, not faffing around, but like playing around with other stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna create a whole new page. Oh, great, did not my private stuff come up. Bleh. Okay, and I'm going to call it alignment zone. If you can't see anything, please let me know. And then I could like, I don't know, make it bigger. Okay, alignment zone. First thing I'm going to create, insight. So August does share some templates for his different dashboards. There's no template for this particular page, but generally I prefer to create my own pages instead of just taking templates from other people, because I find when I take a template from somebody else, it's a bit harder to tweak rather than to just create it from scratch. And I'm familiar enough with Notion that I can look at somebody else's page and sort of get a pretty good grasp of creating from scratch. That's how it works. Okay, so inside, I think inside is probably a header one. So that's a shortcut for creating headers. So when you do a slash, it's like markdown. What is it called? That's not a slash. What's it called? Help, anybody? Do you know what it's called? This sign is called? It's not pound. Okay, if you know, just write in the chat. And then if you do two of these, it becomes a H2, heading 2. And you do this, it's a H3. Okay, so I believe, yeah, oh, hash. Okay, so inside, and you can see he colors it. Okay, I'm just gonna follow. I'll probably change up the coloring, but I'm just gonna give some like Notion tips as I go along. So if you would do a slash col, you'll pull out all the colors. But if you know exactly which color you want, then you can do a slash, let's say brown, and then you'll pull out all the browns. Ta-da! Oh no. Okay. Okay, let's do orange. Why is there no brown background? Okay, looks orange. Okay, and then this thing creates a toggle, and you type guiding principles, ta-da, and then cycles, milestones. I try to use as many shortcuts as possible, because then it makes it really fast to move around instead of using my mouse and clicking here and clicking there. And I also don't really want carpal tunnel syndrome. I've been using the computer too much now. So then he calls it pillar, pipeline, pyramid. So I feel sometimes that like it's a bit like copying his dashboard totally, but it's you copy and then you adjust it to fit yourself when you know it better. Pillars, support, go pipeline. Okay, so if I forgot to put a hash, I can just go back and do it. Oh, so it's a level 2. Wait. So the reason why I'm doing a live stream on like how to do this actual workspace is because recently I presented my current dashboard setup in this the most recent Singapore Notion Singapore Vita. Oh yeah, that's right. I can switch to dark mode, but I don't want to switch to dark mode now so that it's easier for everybody to see. But when I use my computer early in the morning at like, because I wake up at 5 a.m., then I do use dark mode because it not my screen gets super bright. It's like flashlight crazy. So anyway, as I was saying, so at the most recent Notion Singapore meetup, where we presented our setups, Conrad and I, another Notion Pro, presented our setups, and then somebody who was quite new to Notion, he mentioned that yeah, it's quite nice to see all your setups, but I don't really know how to go about creating all your setups. Oh, is it? Okay, fine. I'll try converting. How the setup is actually created. So this is how it's created. Although it does take a lot more time when you sort of talk people through it. So yeah, pros and cons. Okay, all right, good point. Okay, so guiding principles. I need to pull it over here. That's the thing about doing demos. Like sometimes you don't know what information you shared, but yeah. Okay, move to, and I should do it this way. Okay, I'm only doing it this way so that it doesn't show too much information. You could do a move to. I'm just going to see how this way works differently. And also, I need to should have favorited the alignment zone. You can see at the top. Okay, I hope I copied that. If not, just have to recopy it again. Alright, it came over. Usually I would use a right click move to, but in this case it's just to not show too many things. Okay, so all right. So these are the guiding principles which have central elements, drive and motivation, purpose and why, and foundation and core. To read more about this stuff, go over to Augustus' videos where he dives more into it. I'm not showing it now just because some of it is personal. So and I didn't bother like taking out the personal part. So yeah. That's a good idea. I guess. Okay, live and learn, live and learn. All right, now we have pillars. Oh, they're giving that private stuff. Okay. Okay, actually, that's a good idea. Let me shift my main notion here. What's the command? Command shift L. Command shift L. Does it become black? Oh well. Okay, and I'm gonna pull this away. And then I will move my. Alright, nice. Okay, I'm gonna move pillars into I'm doing off screen by the way. Sorry guys. Alignment zone and my value goes into alignment zone. Okay, now that should work. So I'm gonna go back. Hello. Okay, this will stay up. It's okay. I'm gonna go back to my alignment zone. Yes. Okay. So I moved the pages, pillars, and value goes in. So when you move pages inside here, you can move them around, drag them, and drop them into where you want to go to. You expand it, you see the page here. But what you want to see is the contents of the page. So how you show the contents of the page is that you right click on the page turn it into inline, and it will expand out to show the page. But I realized that it should be a what is it? It should be a database link. So that was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. So let me undo. I see how August did it was a database link. So it's sorry, inline. So slash inl table inline. No, it's a link database. Sorry, link link to create link database. And what I want is, let me see, pillars. Here we go. Ta-da! Here's my pillars. Okay. So I'll have to move this somewhere else. I have to see where he put his, because I don't want it at the bottom of the page, so ugly. And then, let me check how the August does pillar support. I have to remember. Okay, so I did screenshots of like August's videos, so I would remember how to go about like certain things that I wanted to play around with. Okay, he did. I don't recall him showing his pillars apart, but that's okay. We'll just continue on. So pillars are in. Value goals, which I already have. So I'm gonna link the value goals. Link to create database value goals. Ta-da! And he might have just put the entire table in. I have a feeling, but it's okay. I can switch it around later. Okay, and then go outcomes, which I will have to create another day. All right. And now, so that's so you can see this is the alignment zone, kind of similar, yeah. That's getting, oh yes, okay. So you notice that Augustus page is pretty big. It's because his page is on a full width. Yeah. So you would do full width when you have a lot of things on the page, or when you're looking at it through a really big browser window. Sorry, a really big screen. Then that would work. Okay. So action items, I would pull my actions database. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is ding, 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 the actions database. Oh my god, I've wanted to do this for so long. Okay, sorry. No, the thing about like these pages is when you adjust stuff and then you can't find where it was. Yeah. Great. Oh, I know. It's right at the top. Okay, action items. Okay, so let's go to my actions database. No, wrong page. Okay. I'll pull it in the, okay, I'm going to into the original database. Okay, so right now I have it like, um, a Kanban view, today, tomorrow, next, and later. So that's pretty common. A lot of people use that. But what what's his name? What August is for is a due date. So when you so it's a due date instead of a due date, because the due date is the day that you're actually going to do the task, whereas if you're going to do a task but on the due date, then that takes, that's wrong already. You don't really have time to finish the task. So that's why he says, put a due date instead of a due date. You would only put a due date when the task has a confirmed fixed deadline. Then you put a due date. If not, there's usually no due date on his task, but there is a due date, DO. So that's what I've done. And also putting tasks or putting due dates on tasks means that you can see the days where you're having your tasks, the number of tasks that you have to do on that day. So for example, on Saturday, I only had one task to do. Sunday, I have one, two, three, four. On Tuesday, there were so many that maybe if I say I couldn't finish any task, all these, okay, sorry, let me backtrack. So if say on Monday night, I would look at Tuesday and I'll be like, wow, there's a lot of tasks to do. I could move this task over to Wednesday and then free up my Tuesday a little bit more. So that's the beauty of having a due date versus a due date. Okay, so I'm going to change the properties of my actions database just to suit uh, August's properties, because I find his properties a bit better. So things that I would take away would be the day, which is previously it was done like today, tomorrow, next, later. So now what I want to change it to is priority. You can see over here, he has different priorities, and his priorities are immediate. No, sorry. His priorities are, oh yes, immediate, quick, scheduled, first priority, second priority, third priority, fourth priority, fifth priority, an errand, if it's an errand to do, and something to remember. So I thought that's pretty good. So I'm going to change it. So, oops, immediate, quick, scheduled, so different formats, like the reasons why he uses these is that immediate is tasks that, like, you have to do really quickly. Let's say, send a quick email off to somebody, or something like that. And then something that is really that you only can do really quickly. Quick, I guess, is like something that you can really quickly but not as fast as immediate. Scheduled would be things that, like a meeting. And then that by tagging all of them as scheduled, then you group the tasks together, and the different priorities help you to reflect and think about whether is that task a priority or not. So I thought that's pretty good. And he generally that only has one type of priority per day in terms of tasks. So for example, there's only one first priority task, one second priority task, and so on and so forth. Did I put Aaron? Yes. And then if you see, like, sometimes his database would have like multiple second priority tasks, it means that all these tasks are grouped together and he's doing them at the same time, not that he's having multiple second priority tasks. Okay, so that's priority. Status, I'll probably remove that. Due date, last completed. Okay, I'm gonna leave this here because this impacts one of my other databases, so I won't touch that. Effort impact, I can remove this. So okay, I'll just talk briefly. So previously I based it off Marie's way of doing her task management, and she does it by this way, like essential, deep work, small win, and daily grind. So that's how she categorized her tasks. which I mean, I used it sometimes, but not consistently. So that was a bit of a challenge for me. Okay, I'm gonna remove the URL. There's a lot of like, how should I say, irrelevant things that I've added. Mm. Yeah, so this is sort of a cleaning up that I'm doing right now. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's categorize it. So it's priority, due date. He has a next in line. Next in line. Okay, so um his next in line is a relational database. Yeah, it's a relational database. So I have to remember to. So based on motion screen, like based on the icon on the left side, at the beginning of the name of the property, you're able to see at a glance like what is the type of property is it a relational database, is it a date field, is it a single select or multi select, I think, yeah, uh, or is it a roll up? So that's really useful. Like you can look at somebody else's database and mimic it quite well. So relational database for tasks. So this next in line is like, what is the task that is next after this? So I have to remember to convert it, because if I convert it now to a relational database, I have to link it to the database. Actually, I could do it now. Yeah, that's right. I can relational database into this. Because it's the same database, I have to create another one. Okay. And it would link straight into the actions, and it's a sync both ways. Okay. This is the first time I'm using this like sync both ways thing. So cool. Okay, let me delete the old one. Oh, is that how it does? Oh, I see. Okay, let me do it again. It's the first time I'm trying this. So cool. Okay, so it's my actions database. Create property sync both ways. So one is next in line. I think one was following. The following and next in line, I mean. Oh, here we go. That's the other one. So this is following. Okay, I hope this works fine. I'll just have to play with it in order to figure out like what it is. Okay, great. And then it would link to, I should take this out. Okay, we'll see how. I'll think about it. Client, project, text. Okay, this one I'll need to think about it to edit the rest of my databases. Okay, so that's it. I will go on. Anybody has any questions? Feel free to ask. And yeah, I will probably go on and play a bit more with the setup. That's the beauty of Notion, right? You keep playing. So yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. God knows how long. Oh, okay, about 40 minutes. Okay, cool. Thanks for tuning in. My proper live stream. I will post this up just for the laughs. I don't think I had any too private information up there, so that's great. Thanks, everyone. Bye.